Next, it's time for today's Ding Dong. Should charity fundraisers be banned from the high street? They've been branded chuggers by some. That's short for charity muggers. But are they really such a nuisance? Chief Executive of the Institute of Fundraising, Peter Lewis, says the money raised on the streets makes such a difference to good causes, whereas radio host James O'Brien is sick and tired of getting hassled on the streets and wants to see them banned. Let's hear the argument from both sides. Gentlemen, the floor is yours. Peter.
Well, last year, 865,000 people in this country signed up to support a charity through direct debits. £130 million were towards good causes, helping homeless people, research into cancer. That's why charities need to still be able to ask for support on the street.
865,000 people signed up for it. 100,064 and 99 actually didn't want to, but they were responding to this dreadful exertion of pressure upon you when you're out in public, because it doesn't feel like they're saying, do you want to support this charity? It feels like they're saying, are you a generous person? And that's very bad manners. It's also very uncomfortable, because you might well be a generous person, but you don't feel the need to justify yourself to a spotty Herbert with a clipboard who looks at you as if you haven't washed that morning when you say, no, thank you very much. I do quite enough already.
There is an assumption, isn't there, that, you know, people who don't want to give in the street don't give anything anyway. It could be wrong.
But the generosity of the British public is shown by the people actually signing up and supporting those charities and giving that money. I'd be interested to know how would James fill that gap of £130 million helping homeless people? Well, you all know...
That's your job, Peter. If you want me to tell you, I will.
You're a radio host. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Well,
if you don't
you
ask
want
the
an
public for
informed
support,
audience, and there's a difference between information and pressure. So what you should be doing is having the people that work for the charity possibly trying to promote their cause from a position of proper understanding and support, rather than some students who've had about 6 hours training being sent out on a Monday to raise money for pandas, a Tuesday for orphans, a Wednesday for homeless people, a Thursday for lemmings, and Fridays for, goodness knows, retired radio presenters.
That just shows James' lack of understanding of the issue. Most of the teams of fundraisers who are out on the street at the moment actually are employed by the charities, by homelessness charities, by disaster relief charities. They are directly employed.
You know as well as I do that you can see the same people promoting different charities from one week to the next. And very sincerely, they do raise money for very good causes, but they're raising it from people who are not giving it for the right reasons.
Colleen, do they irritate you when you're buttonholed in the street?
Yes.
Yep.
I feel guilty saying that, but they do. I've got charities I support, so I don't need them badgering me when I'm shopping.
Martin, when somebody comes up to you with a collecting tin, do you always put something in out of guilt or because you want to help?
I think you're talking utter rubbish, making such huge assumptions that you really can't back up. And if you're embarrassed by being asked or pressured by being asked if you're generous or not, then don't go out, you pussy.
Well, well, there's a first. That's not very charitable.
Do your arguing this way.
Well, I won't repeat that language, but I will remind you what Jesus said, which is that when you are being charitable, your left hand should not know what your right hand is doing. So you can use whatever foul language you please. The bottom line is that charity is a private matter between you, your conscience, and your understanding of the world. It's not something you should be hit round the head with outside Marks and Spencer's.
And on that biblical note, we know what Peter and James have to say. Now it's time for our studio audience to mull it over, as later in the show they'll be voting on who they think is right. But for now, my thanks to Peter Lewis, James O'Brien and Martin Clunes as well. Thank you very much. Coming up... Welcome back, with apologies for any intemperate language in that last part. Things get rather heated. Richard and Mylene in our ding-dong was, should charity fundraisers be banned from the high street? If you agree with Peter Lewis and think, hold that up, think they play an important role for charities, please raise your blue paddle. Or if, like James O'Brien, you're sick and tired of getting hassled in the street, please vote yellow. Raise your paddles now. Oh, gosh. They want to give you money, Peter, but they don't want to be hassled in the high street. And Martin's now throwing biscuits at them. Is there a topic or issue you'd like to see argued out in our Daily Ding Dong? Email us at alan@itv.com. A big thank you to